From Durango Studios in Lusby, Maryland, comes the Channel 3 Public Access News Show. With your host, Southern Maryland's #1 news anchor, Richard Clark.
Welcome back to the Channel 3 Public Access News Show for Sunday, April 2nd, 2017. Where a former Mighty Morphin Red Lion Wild Force Power Ranger, a Mr. Ricardo Medina, was sentenced to 6 years in prison after police say he killed a roommate with a ninja-type sword during a heated argument. My only question is, what did you expect? He's a Power Ranger. One of their things was they got swords, so you kidding me? That, what was it, 6, 7 seasons deep? You're a third-tier child actor who didn't quite make it as a 4th-tier Power Ranger. Yeah, you're going to have some aggression. That piles up. You're not getting gigs. All of a sudden, your roommate says you haven't paid your part of the cable. And then you remember that you have your Red Lion Wild Force anniversary sword that they gave you as they kicked you the fuck out. And all of a sudden, I haven't even mentioned the training. Training kicks in. You were trained as a Power Ranger. What is his name? Ricardo. We'll call you Rick. It just sounds better to me. God, this would be more shocking if you said Rick pulled a gun. Because never did I see. Was there a police force? There was. All right, nerd. There was a police force episode where they had guns. The Lion Wild Force. Lions can't use guns. So he only got, what did he get? He got 6 years. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair. Next, a man has sued and won an undisclosed settlement from Dunkin' Donuts after he requested real butter and received butter substitute at several of their locations. Shame on Dunkin' Donuts for this false advertising. If a grown man specifically requests real goddamn butter, you give him real goddamn butter. You're Dunkin' Donuts. You're supposed to be some national institution where we do the working man right, and we're blue collar. We're the blue collar donuts. Then you need to give out real butter. I can believe it's not butter. You ever tasted other shit? As a chubby American, I could tell. Several locations too. So this isn't some isolated interest. You're on notice, D&D. Do not give me that bullshit. It's one of the most disturbing things I've ever heard. You're on my list. You made the fucking list. Put that down right now. Turning to insect news, European biologists have deduced that if they chose to do so, it would only take spiders about 1 year to kill and consume every human being on the planet. That is the scariest statistic I've heard in a very long time. I do not want to be there on day one. That day the day they flip their face and go, we could have done this years ago. Once they turn their faces on us, once the web starts shooting, once I'm laid up in bed, what is this tiny silk-like product that has surrounded my body? I just couldn't imagine. That's not something, they probably should have done this a long time ago. I don't even understand how it took them this long. They got the study. All it takes now is one spider who has somehow learned how to read, and he's like, yeah, fucking, I gotta gather the troops. That's not what any of us want. Thank you, European biologists, who just probably ruined our future. Europe makes me angry. For our next news story, we turn to Melbourne, Florida, where police say a woman pulled a pair of pistols on a 7-Eleven clerk because she wouldn't allow her to pay with, quote, a jar full of gunked up dirty pennies. I'm a little split on this one. When I read it earlier, I still couldn't come to a conclusion. I'm a little split. On one hand, currency is currency. No matter how poor the holder of the money is, you still have to respect that he or she, don't want to be disrespectful, he or she panhandled for that cold, hard copper that they got on the street. So it doesn't say what she was trying to buy, but I'm guessing Marlboro Reds, if it's a whitey, Newports, if it's more of the African American persuasion. But either way, currency's currency. On the other hand, the word gunked up. As soon as I hear gunked up in a jar, that's sealed gunk. You don't know what. I don't want to touch that shit, so I can understand that. Now, the very second this young lady pulled 2 pistols on me at the same time, like she's fucking Wyatt Earp, I start counting them pennies. I'm like, well, I might not even charge her full price. I'm like, close enough, you know what I mean? But other than that, there's really not an advantage to getting shot over what should really be taken out at this point. Do we really need a penny? A penny? If you don't bend over for something, is it really worth having around? That I've done my stint in correctional facilities. I picked up more trash and shoved it in a bag during that route than I have picking up a penny, hoping to shove that into my commissary so I can get some top ramen the day after. I would not want to be the judge on this. Moving on. This week, Crayola has announced that the color Dandelion will become the first ever color to be retired by the famed crayon company, which begs the question, who gives a shit? It's light yellow. It's the third shade of light yellow from the top. Crayola, you really want to make some waves, grow some balls, and say we're canceling yellow altogether. Oh, we're retiring. He doesn't get a pension. They said retiring. You just threw out a color that was useless. That's what you did. You just realized that you had 2 colors that were almost identical to it, so it's probably time to phase that out. Tell the sun that it has to be drawn in only different shades of orange from now on, because yellow is out the fucking window. Crowns as they call it. A lot of the uneducated people that live around me call it crowns. You get yellow crowns. It's really yellow crayons. They're not good at when vowels start to crash together. Good people though. If you need tobacco. And finally, in local news, a Maryland truck driver was arrested this week for allegedly stealing $20,000 worth of New Balance sneakers, which I can't imagine the number of dads with their dad collared shirts tucked into their dad jorts, with their dad phone clips, openly weeping at the fact that they do not have their dad walking shoes to complete the ensemble. Who gives a shit? They didn't steal Jordan OG 11s, did they? Because if they did, I'm willing to pay top dollar for those. New Balance is not in my world. I don't recommend stealing them because you're going to get caught. There's a certain demographic where they have to send in almost a reverse 21 Jump Street situation where they send in young detectives who happen to look old, and they send them into the dad world, into the dog parks and the gymnasiums that they have to take their little mutant children do their cop work. Nobody cares about the New Balance case, is my point. Once again, the Jordan 11s, my all-time favorite sneaker. I don't know if you ever, but you can wear them anywhere. Weddings, ballin'. If you decide to do all that bullshit, you can wear them anywhere. They are literally probably the greatest shoe that mankind I'm telling you, they're the greatest shoe mankind has ever seen. The Jordan 11s. They have the white with the faux shiny plastic on the classiest sneaker that you've ever fucking seen. Jesus would be jealous of these fucking sneakers. All he had was that open-toed ensemble. I think they had like the ankle buckle that they had, right? Didn't it? To strap it on there and really keep it secure. Detectives who were assigned to that case, who I don't have their names, because if that's the case you got, it's probably embarrassing, and you don't want me reading that on Southern Maryland Public Access. Let me a drink of that. That's unbelievable. Anyway, that was the news.